in the little town of Bagheria, which is right outside of Palermo. And it's really a charming town. And I really wanted you to see this little street, which looks to me like the main drag, because everybody is out talking, meeting each other after church. We saw church let out. We saw people leaving families. And here we came to the main street, and I noticed everyone walking around. And I don't know if you noticed what I noticed, but it's all men. Like, I'm not seeing a lot of women. And I was like, what's going on here? And when I asked, what I was told is that the women are home making the meal that everybody will come home to after church, but before Sunday dinner. It's a wonderful tradition. I grew up with an Italian Sunday dinner. But I think my mom would have been out on the street talking with everybody. We're standing in a little market. It's a really little market in Bagheria. But I wanted to show you first this stand, which is selling cheese made from goats and sheep. And that's because of the character in the novel. I don't want to give too much away, who, as you know, is a goat herd and makes goat cheese. And products from sheep and goats is really prominent here, as is other things. Like here's roast. This is how they roast chestnuts in Sicily. In that little roaster, you know, in New York they do it, but here it is this way, and it smells amazing. I mean, it has that crispy smell, but I'm coming to associate it with Sicily because they do so much with roast chestnuts. Also, pomegranates are big here. It's said to be the fruit of Persephone, and here, as you can see, we had some pomegranate juice yesterday. It was unreal great. And here are some chickpeas too. There's a lot of hazelnuts. There's almonds are really big here. It's used in the cuisine and they're delicious. And the walnuts are bigger than our walnuts. They're really big. They're almost the size of a ping pong ball. Here's some. These are smaller than the ones I saw yesterday, if you can see them, but they're really cool. A lot of nuts and seeds. There's almonds. Let's go look at the almonds. Nice. A little more golden than ours, but they're nice. It's really cool. Here's something. Guess what this is? I don't know. Oh, wait, let me show you these. Lupini beans. You see those, the yellow beans? Okay, that is such an Italian thing, and my father loved them. And they come in jars now. I get them. Francesca loves them. And you take them out, you slip he was a genius because he could slip the top off of the lupini bean and then just pop it in his mouth. And you eat it like it's going out, like potato chips only. I'm not sure it's better for you. And also, here's another thing, which is oregano. Oh, Sicilian oregano. This is amazing. This is, we were talking yesterday, oregano is one of the most important, in addition to basil, but oregano is their thing. And also, interestingly, mint. They use a lot of oregano and mint in their cuisine. I grow oregano. To me, this smells more pungent. Maybe I'm just in a Sicilian mood, but everything here is pretty damn great. Well, isn't that an amazing, amazing place? It's Bagheria, and it is a small town outside of Palermo, which is the capital of Sicily. And it is in the Conca d'Oro, which is the golden bowl, if you remember, we've talked about that in earlier videos, where all the lemons were grown, and it's lush and it's fertile. It is not a tourist town. There is a villa there, Villa Pelagonia, which belonged to kind of a mad baron. But otherwise, it's really off the beaten track. And I really was astounded to see that it was only men, like it was being in the land of men, which actually is not the worst thing in the world. But it was a little like crazy. It's only a year ago. And to think that the women are already home cooking. But it really got me thinking, and I sort of want to talk tonight about food, mostly because I love food, but I want to try to think about those lupini beans really set me off. And I'll come back to thinking about that. But what I really loved about when you're writing a book like Loyalty, what you really want to do is get the essence of the place, the setting. It isn't about the facts and what happened in 1400 so much as how does it feel to live there? And how is it different from where we live? And how is it the same? And when I saw that lupini bean, and this is the trade secrets I have, by the time you You go there, you don't really know what you're going to find when you travel for research and writing a novel. But then there's stuff that strikes you and you go, that's a good idea because it means something to me. When I saw those lupini beans, you see me on this, I get a little choked up. Oh my God, that reminds me of my father. What is going on with that? If you get my newsletter, and it's free, so sign up for it. You'll see that I wrote about pastine the other week. And pastina, is a little pasta that I grew up eating. A lot of Italian Americans did, and so did a lot of Jews, so did a lot of families. It's what I love about food is that these traditions become universal. They become one of the things that combines us, that joins us and connects us. And what's so interesting about something like pastine is that a lot of people, why do you have an emotional reaction to food? It's partly because of your personal history. It relates to your family and it relates to your family history. And I learned that. You kind of know that. It sounds kind of obvious, but I really thought I reminded myself of it when I saw the lupini beans. And to take a second before we get to lupini beans, because I want to sort of talk to you about this. In Sicily, so there's farmers markets. You've been in farmers markets, so you know what a farmers market looks like. And I won't take you through it now. But I do want to show you some things that I saw in that farmers market that were uniquely Sicilian. Because as I say, there's some commonality, but there's also some things that you don't generally see. These amazing breads were in that farmers market. I mean, doesn't it look amazing, right? Well, who doesn't love Italian bread? Now, there were all kinds of varieties of lemon. I don't know the name of this type of lemon. Feminello is the kind of lemon that really made Palermo and ended up being so important to, believe it or not, as the novel will tell you, the formation of the mafia, because it was born in the lemon groves. And as we've talked about, people who were working those lemon groves had no way to move up the social ladder because it was so restricted and classist. So they end up working in lemon groves, and then they become the manager of the lemon groves, and then they start a protection racket. But these are really interesting, kind of weird, bumpy lemons that I'm sure has a name that doesn't matter. This is a cool thing that you see in the farmers markets there, which is beautiful little, they're made of marzipan. They're little formed kind of kings and queens and pretend little fruits. The nuns made them in the convent too. It's all made of marzipan or almond paste, which is very big because almonds grow all over Sicily. Now let me show you some other things that grow only in Sicily to start with. Well, pomegranates, because it's the island of, it was Persephone's island. So it's all about pomegranates. They use pomegranate, not that they grow only in Sicily. I'm getting ahead of myself. That's next. But it's everywhere. Like pomegranates, I love them. They're hard to get. But they're in Sicily, they're everywhere. You eat them on the street, and these are prickly pears. They call them Indian fruit. They call them all kinds of things. And you open it up, and it's it's a succulent, because so much of Sicily is dry. It was not irrigated by the Arabs. The Arabs irrigated the Conquistador so that you could grow things. But the prickly pear ends up being a really succulent magenta fruit. My mouth is watering. It tastes like a pear, but it tastes sort of like an apple and a pear, and it kind of quenches your thirst as it fills you up. Here's me messing up my office. Here's a special kind of olive that you get that started life in Sicily. Remember, loyalty is historical fiction. We go back in time to learn that the Castelvetrano olive, and there's so many kinds of olives in Sicily, but olive is a staple of that part of the world. I'm crazy about olives, and we'll talk about these olives more in a minute. But here's the coolest thing. I like to not inundate you. Of course, I'm inundating you as we speak because I love inundating myself. But I saw something in that market that I thought was astounding, and you only find it in Sicily. You might find it elsewhere now, but you didn't then. Look at this. What is this? This is called the cucuzzo or the gaguzza. They have a lot of kinds of names of it. It's a squash. It's like 4 feet long, 5 feet long. They call them also Hercules bats. They also call it the serpent of Sicily. Isn't this amazing? I mean, they're just really, really long squash. I didn't get to cook one because I was not there to cook, but they say that has white flowers like regular zucchini does, but that its taste is a little more pungent, and that doesn't surprise me. But isn't that amazing? And that's what I love. You go there, you're doing research, you see the stuff that is unique to there, So I put that stuff in the book because I love that kind of local color. But it also got me thinking more importantly, because you're trying to write a story, it has to have some emotional appeal. And here I am looking at these things that I love that my family grew up, Castelvetrano olives. These are amazing. If you don't, they come from Sicily. If you don't have some of these, you should get them because let me tell you, olives are a really good snack. They're not very fattening. They have really good oils. These are amazing. I put these in the book because their green color is so unique. It's kind of bright. I just spilled it. It's not a Spanish olive. It's a really, really unique olive. But let me show you something that I really want to show you, which is the lupini bean that I mentioned. Now, if you're Italian American, you might know what this is. And if you just have a really wide-ranging knowledge of food, you might know what this, but I'm betting you don't. Because I never saw it outside of the house when I was growing up, and I don't really buy it that much. And like I say, when I saw them in that piazza in Sicily, now you understand, you saw the street. It's a big, it's a long street, but it's not very big. It's a little bit wide. The most prominent thing is the piazza, and the piazza is full of food. And the people cluster around the piazza and they talk and they get what they need and then they walk away and they keep talking. But when I saw those lupini beans, that's what sparked my thinking about the emotional connection between food and family and personal history. Because I hadn't seen lupini beans in a long time and it made me think about my father. And it wasn't just that he loved them, which he did. They're kind of salty, but in a mild way. It's really what he did when he ate them. And it's what he did for us as kids. So I thought I would show it to you because that's part of the memory. And that's part of the love and the family stuff that goes into loyalty. So here's a lupini bean, right? It looks like a lima bean, but it's a little bigger and chubbier. And it's the most beautiful color. Actually, the walls of my family room are this color. It's lupini yellow. Actually, my new hair, which I had highlighted to hide the gray. Oh yes, baby. That is lupini yellow. Here is a lupini bean. Can you see? It's not very big. Well, what we used to do at the table, what my dad used to do. Now, you don't just pop it in your mouth. That's not how you eat a lupini bean. So I'm going to give you a little lesson and show you, as I get the juice all over my computer, what my dad used to do. And you will see why it is an indelible memory that I won't get all choked up over, but I'm gonna try not to. Okay, so what you do when you have a lupini bean is you get it, right? And if you live alone like me, which is so great, you can stick your hand in the jar and you don't have to apologize to anybody. It's great. So here is the lupini bean. You're gonna bite the top off just a little bit, all right? Not breaks the seal. You can eat that or not. Watch what my father used to do, because this is how he used to entertain us. And you gotta watch fast because it's gonna fly around. Did you see? Did you see? I'll do another one. Isn't that so fun? So can't you imagine being at a Thanksgiving table, or as I said in the video, Sunday dinner. Sunday dinner is a thing, and it's a thing with a lot of ethnicities and a lot of cultures, and it's a great thing. Francesca and I are a tiny little family, but we always sat down to dinner together because we love it. And I think a lot of families do, maybe less so now and as the kids get older, but watch this again. This is so fun. Isn't that incredible? Now, can you imagine being a little kid and watching your dad do that to entertain you? Are you ever going to forget that? You're never going to forget that. And if you find yourself in Sicily in a town you can barely pronounce, and you're in a piazza and you see lupini beans and you remember that, and like a lot of family memories, you didn't even know you had forgotten it. You had forgotten it until you see it, and then it comes back to you and you feel it. And that's what I think the best of historical fiction is about. You want to evoke the commonality. We all associate certain food with our family, whether we had Sunday dinner, or the way your mom made eggplant parm, or your dad was a cook, or some other dish your mom made, a brisket, some kind of casserole, some special baker. My stepmother was a wonderful baker. She could bake all kinds of things. you know what the remembering those recipes of your family, the way your mom used to make it, the way somebody you love used to make it. It's about much more than food. I joke around a lot about carbohydrates, but it isn't about everything all at once. Isn't it about your family and the love and the dinner tables, and the past all of a sudden becomes present, right? I mean, it's about family history. I wanted to take a second to show you a picture of my dad because I remembered him from the Lupini beans. There he is. That's Frank Scottolini. I kept his name. Oh, now the dog's going to start barking. Kiki. And he's kind of hot, right? I mean, I had a good looking dad. And he was really a wonderful dad. I talk more about my mother, but he was really, really fun and terrific. And I don't know what to do about that. You know what? I'm going to get her. Hold on one second. Peach, shut up. Go out. Go out. Okay, I'm back. Anyway, that's a good segue because yes, someone, Amanda's saying, remember her grandmother helping her cut fresh strawberries. Strawberries are hard to cut. I always end up like almost hurting myself. But in any event, that emotionality, that connection between food and family and your personal history is part of your personal narrative. And that can be in your family story. So many people are doing their family trees. My dad used to do ours, and sadly, as after he passed, I got to figure out how to do that myself. But I really wanted to get that note, that chord, that emotionality and loyalty, because loyalty is a story about family, and these four characters come together, all from disparate backgrounds, all from different types of families, but they join in a way that I hope is very, very loving. So that's Bagheria. Now, what do we do next? Oh, so usually we do author spotlight, but I have so many blurbs from all these wonderful authors, and this is like the 13th thing. I think we've run out of blurbs. But what I wanted to do something more really, really important, which is to spotlight different booksellers. These are various booksellers who I was lucky enough to send them an early copy of Loyalty. And I was so happy when they said something nice. Let me take you to this one in particular. This is from Elaine Petrocelli, who is at Book Passage, which is the most, well, it's one of the best independent bookstores in the country. It's in San Francisco. It's very well known. You should follow their social media and their website because they have, they always are doing authors. And I've been at signings at the store before COVID, and I just love it. When you do a signing at the Ferry Street store for Book Passage, you are on the San Francisco Bay, which is just stunning, like seagulls fly around. Here is what Elaine said about Loyalty, which I'm hugely honored by. She said, lock your door, pour a chilled glass of limoncello, and get ready to be deeply immersed in a complex, magnificent tale of power, love, hate, and especially loyalty. That's Elaine Petrocelli of Book Passage. I am so honored by that. I hope you support your local independent bookstore. They're so important to all of us, and I think they're so important to communities. We need bookstores in communities. That helps us be literate. It makes a statement to our kids, and the books are important and reading matters. So I'm hugely honored by that. So thank you very, very much. I'll see you next Monday, 7:30, and we'll have more fun. Thanks again. Bye-bye.